All right, I'm here with the newest partners from Lyda Law Firm, Megan Douglah, Ryan Gordon, and Denise Hansen. We're celebrating their promotion to partnership and talking a little bit about our firm, our mission, our values, how we can help clients, and some things that might surprise clients and help potential clients choose a lawyer and get the most out of the attorney-client relationship. And we are going to meet the partners today, so that's what this video is all about. Our mission at Lyda Law Firm is to increase access to high-quality legal services for startups and small businesses, nonprofits, and moderate-income individuals. So we love serving those clients, and without further ado, let's meet the partners. Take it away, Denise.
Hello, I'm Denise Hansen, and I'm an attorney practicing in the greater Seattle area. I went to law school at Tulane University, and I did my undergrad at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana.
Ryan.
Hi there, my name is Ryan Gordon. I'm an attorney with Lyda Law Firm out in Denver, Colorado. Before coming out to Denver and practicing, I went to undergraduate at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, as well as Suffolk University for law school, as well as a master's in business administration.
And I'm Megan Douglah, and I'm an attorney in the firm's Denver office. Before starting at the firm, I graduated law school at the University of Oklahoma Law School and went to undergrad at Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes.
All right, great. So,
10 out of 10.
And Ryan and Megan have been practicing here since straight out of law school, which is wonderful. It's been very fun to see you go from beginning lawyers to being at the top of your game. Denise, prior to coming to the firm, you did family law, and before that you were an auditor.
I practiced family law for about a decade, and before going to law school, I was a futures and options auditor, and then I was a financial analyst.
And I'm Mark Lyda. I practice in Denver, Colorado. I went to Notre Dame Law School and University of Kansas undergrad. Okay, so let's talk about what our firm is all about. Now that your partner's here, Ryan and Megan, you've practiced here for your entire legal career, which is wonderful and has been fun to watch. Denise, prior to joining the firm, you did family law and you were an auditor prior to that. So we bring different experiences to the table, both from inside the firm and from prior to the firm. Let's start by talking about what makes our firm different. I'll start just by saying that our mission is to increase access. And what that means to us is, it's still expensive to hire a lawyer, but we try to be strategic with our clients and collaborative in terms of making sure that clients aren't shocked when they receive their bill, that they're making resource allocation decisions and getting the best value for their legal dollar. It also means, I think, being approachable and trying to actually make connections with clients where we're working with them shoulder to shoulder and not just being kind of like, I think if I weren't a lawyer, I would probably find it daunting to hire a lawyer. You call them and you tell them all your problems and you think, what is this going to cost me? It would be like going into an emergency room, without insurance, essentially, where it's just a complete mystery what this whole thing is going to cost me. So we do some flat fee work, we do some hourly work, but we're always trying to be transparent and collaborative with clients. I think that's one thing that makes us different. What else makes us different?
Speaking of insurance, we work with a lot of legal insurance clients, which it's kind of a relatively new concept, similar to health insurance, but people through their employers get access to legal insurance. They pay a small fee every month to whatever legal insurance plan they have. And so we work with a lot of legal insurance clients who otherwise, without the legal insurance, may not have access to an attorney at all. It is a lot of lower to moderate income individuals, and all they're having to pay for the most part is that monthly, relatively small fee for their insurance, legal insurance, and then they get access to an attorney to help with whatever matter they have. So I think that's been a kind of a cool program that we've developed over the years, and really serves our mission of increasing access to legal services.
That's a really good one. It really does fulfill that part of the mission. When we talk about increasing access to high-quality legal services for small businesses, nonprofits, and moderate-income individuals. It was really legal insurance that helped us crack the nut of how to provide that for moderate-income individuals. And, when we're talking about moderate income, we're not talking necessarily about legal aid. It's people who wouldn't qualify for legal aid, but also couldn't afford to hire an exorbitantly expensive large law firm. Which is the vast majority of people fall in that gap, the justice gap they call that. But that's been an amazing way to serve that mission, and you have done an amazing job at developing that program. It's a business puzzle to figure out how to be efficient with those fees so that we can accomplish great results for the clients, while at the same time being able to do it in an economical and efficient way. What else?
I think one really unique thing that we offer is the subscription service that we have for businesses, primarily small businesses. I find that it has allowed me to kind of step into that general counsel position for businesses that are really just kind of starting, but they don't really know what they're going to need. They don't know how much to allocate to all the legal questions that are going to be coming down the pipe. So that's been really great.
Yeah.
And, I think that one component of that and being able to offer more efficient services is the generalist nature of at least everybody here in our room's practices. Kind of the nature of business and, really any legal issue nowadays is the fact that it pulls from, several different niches of the law. Obviously a lot of our small business clients are going to be looking for financing or offering equity or entering into, employment contracts and so on and so forth. And so, rather than a lot of these small businesses needing to hire lawyers at some of these larger firms or mid-sized firms that, specialize in a specific niche like mergers and acquisitions, let's say, or public financing or things of that nature, intellectual property included, is that, a lot of us have experience and a great deal of skill in being able to understand and sift through kind of the weeds of every component that, a small business or a startup might be concerned with legally. And rather than going out and hiring 3 different lawyers at 3 different firms to deal with employment or securities or so on and so forth, it's easy enough to just give one of us a call and we can probably get you that answer relatively quickly. And if not, frankly, there are other people who have, maybe a little bit more skill and experience in one of those particular niches, but, for the most part, every one of us have done, some component of every facet of business operation nowadays.
Yeah, that's another business puzzle for us, is that what our clients need is generalists. So how do we become generalists and expand our areas of competency like that? And so we put a lot of work into that. And we also accomplish it firm-wide by having people who bring different skills to the table so that we can always serve a client. And like you said, they're not going to have to pay 3 different retainers for 3 different legal needs. I think a lot about how we're kind of a blend of innovative but old-fashioned at the same time, because lawyers used to be more frequently generalists. The era of highly specialized lawyers is a somewhat newer phenomenon. So on the one hand, we use technology to solve these business puzzles, and we are always trying innovative fee structures and innovative ways of connecting with clients. But on the other hand, we're kind of like doing that old-fashioned neighborhood lawyer type practice.
And I think that the size of our firm really kind of assists in our ability to have that scope of reach, honestly. Mm-hmm. A lot of these firms with 50, 100, 200 plus attorneys, generally speaking, a lot of those attorneys might not know people outside of their practice group. And if their practice group is kind of siloed and in a niche, then, they might have an outside referral or a vague, recollection of this other attorney in the firm who specializes in some obscure area of the law. But
I saw that guy in the elevator once. I think he said something about ERISA or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so, it's I think a lot easier for us to have the level of familiarity that we do and the collegiality that we do at our firm, and kind of those persistent weekly connections with each other that allow us to be able to help each other out a lot more efficiently than, searching through the corporate directory, I guess.
That's a good segue to talk about recruitment and the type of lawyers that we work with. I mean, we have an amazing team, and the type of lawyers that we want to add to the team. I completely agree with you about the firm size, but I also reserve the right to completely change my mind once we are that size. But anyway, so let's talk about the type of lawyers that we want to bring into the fold to work with.
In my eyes, it's intellectual curiosity.
Well, I mean, I tell people in interviews that the number one thing is culture add. Like, they're going to add to the culture of the law firm. Practicing law is difficult. It's actually, I think it might surprise people to know, it's an emotionally difficult thing. And lawyers, we're an unhappy profession by and large, sadly. And so we have to rely on each other to build a supportive environment where we can make the practice of law fun and happy. There's a famous law review article. It's actually a legal ethics law review article called On Being Happy, Healthy, and Ethical in an Unhappy, Unhealthy, Unethical Profession. I think it's good for clients to have happy lawyers. That's something that might surprise them because so many of the malpractice and professional discipline cases really arise out of some level of lawyer unhappiness, where they're getting stressed out and then they're not communicating with clients, and then the small lies start and then the big lies start, and it's all really rooted in like lawyer personal crisis. So it's something that always needs to be addressed, and something that we address by having a really supportive environment of each other. So I think one of the main things we're looking for is when somebody comes into the Lyda law firm, they are contributing to the culture. They're creating the culture, not just receiving it and trying to make a real value add. And as you know, and as I've told you, I'm always just trying to clone the 3 other people in this room, and I would do that if I could. And so that's a big thing, adding to the supportive environment.
Well, one of my favorite things about the people I work with is that I like them. So
yeah,
we're always looking for people that we like.
It sounds silly, but that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
To genuinely like the people that you're working with and feel like you can ask them questions and, just discuss cases and just know that people are there and that they care. And like Mark said, I think having a happy lawyer makes all the difference to clients, whether or not they realize that.
I think you think best when you're happiest as well. So that high-level strategic thinking that clients need from us is fostered best in a happy environment. Anything else you want to say about like the type of people you want? Because the idea is, maybe some of this is on the careers page or something like that too. So like, if there's anything you want to put out there to just like hook the type of people that you want, go for it.
Self-starters.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And not afraid to kind of venture into different areas of law.
Yeah.
I mean, when I came to the firm, I came straight out of law school, but my law school studies focused on IP and international law, which is not necessarily what I'm doing here, but it's kind of been great to get a really broad range of experience at the firm. A lot of different areas of business law. Civil litigation was something that I did not think that I would be involved in where I worked, but I had a chance to learn that and do civil litigation.
Right.
And so somebody that's maybe willing to learn a bunch of different areas of law and try different things and figure out what they like. Doesn't mean you have to try it and do it forever, but take on cases and see if you like it and learn new things.
And similarly, we're looking for entrepreneurial people as well. So we have really transparent compensation, which I think is a differentiator for us as compared to other firms, but it's also it's transparent, but it also requires a certain level of self-starting because we do revenue sharing for compensation. So having that entrepreneurial attitude is kind of similar to trying new things in terms of substantive legal areas. We also want people who are willing to get out there and network and try to bring in cases and grow their practice and grow the firm together. So and I think both of those things boil down to some combination of intellectual curiosity, like you said, and courage. Those are scary things for people to do. And I think a lot of lawyers have more fear than people would realize. I think even your fancy big firm lawyer that's highly specialized in one area, part of the reason of being highly specialized in that one area is it feels very secure to be rooted in the same statute for your entire career.
So would you say neurotic is a personality trait that we look for in our attorneys?
Right. I think neurotic is a personality trait that probably most lawyers share. But what we need is courage.
And going back to that intellectual curiosity and that courage and being a self-starter as well, honestly, is building that relationship. Frankly, all of my client relationships that, not that I say I would value, but really enjoy, helping them out with stuff are those clients that I've had for a bit of time, and, you're able to kind of establish that relationship. And that's a component not only of your personality fit within the law firm, but your personality fit with the clients. And, given that the vast majority of us manage our own client relations, that's a pretty important thing to make sure that, your book of business is continuing to go forwards and that you're maximizing the potential profits that you could be making out of that.
Yeah, and we just love the idea of having a trusted advisor, long-term relationship. When a client hires us, it's usually just for one thing. They don't hire us to be their long-term trusted advisors, but it evolves into that, and that's a very rewarding type of thing. Well, maybe that's a good segue to talking about how to hire a lawyer. That's a topic I'd like to talk about. What do you think a client should look for in a lawyer?
Looks.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for personalities to affect. The client-attorney relationship is a really important one, and especially if it's the type of a case where you're up against an opposing party or there's some type of a conflict. The worst thing could be having conflict with your own client because there's a personality issue, and so I think it's really important to make sure that your client and you are a good fit personally.
Yeah. And I know you've had this experience before as well, but I've always heard that clients tend to hire lawyers who match themselves in some respects, either their own kind of internal image of themselves or something along those lines where, as you said, that personality fit is good or the mannerisms in which you operate is good. It's not necessarily just, you went to OU Law School as well, or I was always a Kansas Jayhawk basketball fan, rock, chalk, Jayhawk. It's not so much that it comes down to, communication styles, personality, interests even. A number of my clients share similar interests, so they'll call me up about a matter and we'll discuss that for a little while, but we'll also talk about how skiing was last weekend or what fishing is like or where you're going hiking or how your dogs are doing.
Yeah, personality fit.
Yeah, I think to piggyback on that, because there has to be trust between the lawyer and the client, and so you as the lawyer have to trust that you're getting all the information you need from your client, and your client has to trust you and your advice. And I think one thing that's really important is to keep in mind that your lawyer is not necessarily there to be your yes man. Like a good lawyer is going to also kind of put you in your place if you need to be put in your place, meaning if there's an issue that the lawyer looks at and says, this isn't really a viable place to kind of put all your eggs in this basket, I think it's really important to trust that your lawyer is going to do that, and I know that we do that.
Such a good point, and it's a real service. I think it maybe doesn't always feel that way to clients if they come in and they say, oh, I want to sue somebody for XYZ, and we say, that's going to be difficult to prove, or maybe that's not a legally sustainable claim for some reason. If we explain that at the front end, we have saved a world of hurt for that client. They may not realize that, but it's a valuable service to provide. Yeah, that's really good. So a lawyer who will be honest with you, good or bad. They want us to be advocates for them and to be able to stand up to others on their behalf, which we absolutely should be able to do. But that means also having those assertive skills sometimes means we have to be assertive with the clients when it's in their best interest for us to have those sorts of conversations. Great point.
Absolutely. I think it comes down to the integrity of the work.
That's right.
Yeah, and it may not feel like the best answer to hear, oh, well, you may not have a good case. I wouldn't recommend moving forward, but at the end of the day, it's better than having an attorney that's like, sure, I'll take this for you and bill you hourly until it's done,
Right.
and then at the end of the case you lose, and then you've put in tens of thousands of dollars maybe, and that probably feels worse than being told up front.
Or even
Don't
if you
move
bring
forward.
that litigation and you win, but you've spent 3 times more on your legal fees that you're not going to get back than what the judgment is. What's the point in throwing that good money after bad? And it's a lot of times difficult to see where that line is, I guess, because and I've been there before in my own personal life where I want to pursue something for the principle of it, right? And having somebody being able to talk you down off of that is an exceptionally valuable skill set.
Yeah, we want to help our clients make rational economic decisions that are in their benefit.
I love that word.
Yeah.
That term.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very grounding term when you're in the heat of conflict,
Well, nobody likes to be called irrational.
Yeah.
Irrational economic actors. So.
Yeah. Okay, how about some things that might surprise clients to know?
It's not like TV, it's not Law and Order where you're calling up, or Suits where you're calling up and yelling at somebody. That doesn't get it done.
It's a lot of this.
It's a lot of this. It's a lot of this. And it's a lot of problem solving. Honestly,
Yeah.
That's where the best solutions come from, I've always found, is problem solving, not slamming the book. That just tends to exacerbate the problems,
So true.
cost more money, and then everybody's pissed off at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whether it's resulting from the judgment or how much they spent to get that judgment.
Yeah, a civil, a civil, courteous, but extremely competent lawyer is going to be much more effective than, just a chest beater, screamer type.
Yes.
Hiring an attorney doesn't have to be unaffordable.
Great one.
We offer a lot of flat fees, and you'd be surprised what a strongly worded letter from an attorney can do for your, uncooperative landlord or auto body repair shop that's trying to screw you over.
Yeah.
And so we offer a lot of just letters for reasonable flat fees, so you're not having to put in or pay an attorney's hourly rate to get something resolved. Sometimes it can be resolved in just a letter for a flat fee, and sometimes that can be worth it.
Yeah.
A lawyer's familiarity with your business as well is exceptionally important, I found. There's only so much information that you can get from an initial client consultation. Say a business comes in and wants you to draft up an independent contractor agreement. Maybe it has equity attached to it or something along those lines. At the beginning stages of the company, really immature, it might be relatively straightforward. But as that business progresses, that lawyer's, not only their competence, but their understanding of your business and how you see that business moving forwards is critical to writing a contract correctly and to ensure that that contract is, watertight and sustainable. Realistically.
Yeah.
And so I found that a lot of, especially our clients that have stayed with us for quite a while, a lot of times our ability to process that work becomes faster and faster and faster because we understand the nuances of not only that industry, but that business's particular operations and strategy.
Yeah, that's why, giving your lawyer more information. Err on the side of giving your lawyer too much information. Because we can sift through it fairly quickly and understand what we need to know in depth and what we don't. But don't try to make those determinations yourself. Give the lawyer your information and let them make those value judgments, I think. That's true when you're representing a business, it's true in litigation, and it's true in estate planning, which is our fastest growing practice area right now is estate planning. And in all of those cases, lay all your cards out on the table. We're your lawyer. You can trust us. It's privileged. Just tell us everything, and we're not here to price gouge, so don't worry about, oh, you don't need to know this because I don't want to pay for this, and you don't need to know this. Give the lawyers. Err on the side of giving your attorney more information.
I think another thing that might surprise clients to know is that lawyers aren't scary. It's not scary to hire an attorney. I can't count the number of times I've had a client come back to me and say, you know, actually, I was really scared to call a lawyer.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so scary. We're just people.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. I'm terrified.
Yeah, that's right.
I have always wondered if that kind of apathy or concern is related to, well, if I contact a lawyer, then this becomes far more real than it was beforehand. Because I feel like a lot of the general public just has so little experience to, or frankly previously access to, you know, legal services.
Why do you think it is that it's scary for people to reach out to a lawyer?
Well, I think it goes back to kind of what Ryan said, that most people have had very limited interactions with lawyers, and so most of what they see comes from entertainment. They think that the way a lawyer acts on TV or in a movie is how we operate in the real world, and that's just frankly not true.
At least not some of us.
Some of us, that's true.
Yeah. What else might surprise clients to know?
Well, I don't know if this answers that question exactly, but something one of you said reminded me. But I think a lot of clients not come to us too late, but they're maybe afraid to come to us, or they don't want to, they're like, oh, it's not a legal issue yet, and so I'm going to wait and see if I can figure this out myself.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, you know, just a super quick document review could cut off a lot of potential issues that could come up later. So it's always better to have a consultation or give us a call for, you know, a document review or something else, just to discuss your issues and see if there's a way to prevent future conflict, because that's always the goal.
Great point.
Cut off the problem before it starts. But sometimes if you think I can handle this myself, and you get into it, and then it just kind of snowballs into a bigger issue, and then it takes longer to resolve, or tension's already inflamed at this point. And so when in doubt, you know, we're not scary. Give us a call and ask.
Yeah, it's almost like by contacting a lawyer, that problem becomes more real and tangible, right? And so once they contact the lawyer, this is real life. You know, that debt collector that's calling a debtor constantly, you know, 2-3 times a day, yeah, you can just send them a voicemail and delete the voicemail, and it's not real, quote unquote. But once you hire that lawyer and you're taking care of it, then that becomes an everyday issue that you're thinking about in the back of your mind. You probably were beforehand, honestly, but there's that additional level of tangibleness that you might want to bury your head in the sand like an ostrich, more or less, right? When in reality, we can solve that problem a heck of a lot faster if we get ahead of it.
And you don't need to have a problem to call a lawyer. A lot of times, like you said, just like medicine, preventive medicine is so important, the same is true for the law. And it's easy to back burner legal needs. It's easy to, you know, keep the will or the estate plan on the bottom of your to-do list. It's easy when you're a small business to hop on LegalZoom and try to back burner any real legal needs. But they say it's really important in life and in business to focus on completing those tasks that are important but not necessarily urgent. And that's where a lot of the preventive legal services needs are for people, for small businesses. Right. So, you know, I've had multi-million-dollar litigation that could have been prevented by calling a lawyer on the front end and having them write a contract to define that relationship that was later being litigated. So, an ounce of prevention is worth whatever the expression is, you know? Yeah, that's a good point.
I think also clients just need to know, or potential clients need to know, that an initial consult is free. And I think that is something that maybe a lot of people don't know. So they're scared to call an attorney because they're also thinking, well, if I call an attorney, how much is this going to cost me? And that initial call could end up saving you a lot in the long run.
And just based on pop culture with attorneys, you think that, okay, well, even if I do call and get this free consult, it's going to be, you know, maybe they say I need to have a contract written for this. What's that contract going to be? $15,000?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Well, call. You'll find out.
And
It's free to do it. It's easy.
In defense of Hollywood and their portrayal of lawyers, it is true that a lot of times, you know, legal fees are astronomical. That really is true, and we're trying to do that differently. I'm not saying it's not still a significant expense for people to hire us depending on their needs. But we genuinely are trying to always figure out how to make it more and more accessible for people. There are two types of businesses: those that try to figure out how to charge customers or clients more, and those that try to figure out how to charge less, and we're in the latter category. Not that we're perfect in accomplishing that, but like I said, in defense of Hollywood, sometimes the fees are astronomical, but we're trying to change that as best we can.
So,
you
know, how, well, so we're discussing how, you know, some businesses figure out how to charge more, you know, make it essentially a luxury product versus, you know, the companies that figure out how they can charge less. You know, and I think that one of the ways that we're really able to do that is our lean corporate operation. You know, at the end of the day, realistically, you know, we're not buying 47th floor office space at $3 million per year for our lease. You know, we understand kind of that by leveraging legal technology or allowing work from home, which benefits not only our employees' mental health and their, you know, ability to put time into not only their work but their personal lives, you know, really helps us out a lot in being able to pass that on to clients. And it's not meant as a method to cut our overhead and charge the same amount to maximize our profit. You know, we're passing those savings on to the clients themselves, rather than just simply padding our own pockets.
I think a lot of times clients think of the cost of lawyers as a measure of the lawyer's quality, or the quality of the legal services that are going to be provided. I don't think that may be accurate in some cases. I don't think it's accurate in our case because we are making a proactive effort to try to be as affordable as we can be.
I think one thing that sets us apart from some other firms, maybe not all, but when you hire us, you will be working with your attorney. I know a lot of firms, like, you'll work with the attorney's paralegal or some other staff member that's assisting with the case, but you'll almost always be working directly with your attorney from beginning to end. So, you know, I prefer it that way. I like to be able to, you know, connect with my clients and speak with them and get to know them. It's not just a transaction. I want to be able to understand what they're looking for, and the best way to do that is to be able to speak with them directly and interact with them throughout the process. So we won't just pass you off to someone else.
And if you really think about it, that probably saves clients a lot of money in addition to the headache and having that, you know, level of security or peace of mind that the lawyer who they spoke to the first time on the phone is the lawyer handling their case. You know, rather than, as you said, maybe it's a partner and a senior associate or paralegal is working on that. Okay, well, now how many people are you going to see coming up on that invoice line item? You know, how many times is one attorney going to have to talk to another attorney or that paralegal to get them up to speed on a new development in that matter? You know, and it might take 10, 15, 20 minutes, but time is money. So, you know, if you've got 2, 3, 4 people working and trying to have these meetings and consulting with each other on those developments, you know, you're doubling and tripling that bill simply in that 20-minute time frame. So, that's another way that we can kind of pass that value on to clients, and not only, like you said, for that peace of mind, but simply from a dollars and cents analysis.
Yeah, I think talking about our streamlined operations, we don't have, we're not like one of the larger firms where every attorney has a dedicated paralegal that they're kind of passing along the work to. That's not how we operate.
Jumping back to the topic of why people might be maybe afraid or hesitant to contact an attorney, clients, potential clients, you have lives. Your lives are busy. You've got a lot going on. Maybe you think, I have to contact a lawyer. I'm going to have to go into the office. I'm going to have to schedule all these meetings with them. I mean, depending on the issue, a lot of it really can be done virtually. And, all of us were at the firm start of COVID, through COVID. And it really kind of changed our operations a bit. I mean, there is value to virtual meetings. You don't have to always come into the office. We get that you're busy too. You may not have time to physically come in and meet with your attorney and go over all your stuff. So I mean, a lot of my clients, I give them the option, but if they just want to send me all their stuff by email, I can sift through all the documents, get the important information, and follow up by email or schedule a call or a Zoom meeting or whatever works best with your schedule. So it doesn't have to be a huge time commitment, from the client perspective to hire an attorney. We can try and get it resolved without you ever having to come into the office even once. So
great
that's
point.
Something that clients may not know.
Yeah, that's a great point. And on the point of you have a life as a client, that's so true for business owners and nonprofit executives too. Our goal is to handle the legal side so that you can focus on running your business, like whatever your craft is. Okay, let's review the types of cases that we take and clients that we serve. So one sort of unique thing about us is we're certainly, I think it's fair to say, we're a socially conscious firm, and we love representing, public benefit corporations, B Corps. We can help with that process. We love representing nonprofits and just anybody starting any sort of business, really. Anything that our vision for the firm is that anything that a small business can possibly need, we can do. We're not quite there yet, but we really are close. So if you're a small business owner or a nonprofit executive, I think call us. Everybody needs an estate plan. You can call us for that. Other types of cases that I failed to mention, what do you think?
Well, I think along those lines, along the estate planning lines, I still do some family law. I do primarily prenups and postnuptial agreements, and I also still love helping people through divorces and separations, but these days I choose to take a non-litigious approach to that, which I think is a better holistic approach for all the people involved in the situation, especially if there's kids.
So you'll help people with unwinding the assets and coming up with a plan, but in an uncontested type of...
Correct, in a way that they are not spending their time, money, and resources fighting in court on just the temporary issues. Because I think what a lot of people don't realize is all the litigation that happens in family law, majority of it is on temporary issues, and then these people still have to figure out what are they going to do as a final resolution. And so I think it's much better, for everyone's sake, to focus on how do we get to a resolution that works for everyone, and not waste the time, the money, and the effort on temporary issues. Because at the end of the day, guess what? The lawyers lead the case, and those people are left picking up the pieces of whatever damage has been done. And so I think it's so much better to take an approach of how do we best resolve this for everybody involved.
Excellent. That's a great point. Oh, and I forgot to mention, people will know you from the famous hit YouTube playlist, How to Start a Nonprofit, as well.
Top 10 for sure.
We can help people through the entire process of starting a nonprofit, really from idea through actually executing on their vision and helping them run the legal side of their day-to-day operations.
Correct, and going through that application process, which scares a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not that bad. We can help you.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
We've got it.
What else did I not mention? Clients other clients we serve, other types of clients we serve.
I've assisted clients with a lot of just general consumer protection disputes, a
Yeah.
lot of car dealership cases, landlord-tenant. I really enjoy helping tenants, just
Yeah.
because, especially when the client has legal insurance, like I mentioned earlier, because a lot of tenants get taken advantage of by landlords. And I just enjoy helping them in situations where without an attorney, the landlord might just walk all over them and
That's
not
right.
give them their security deposit. And Colorado has relatively favorable
Yeah.
tenant laws, and all you need is a letter and the landlord
So true.
will back off. And I
Yeah.
wish it weren't the case, but I do enjoy helping those types of clients in those individual disputes.
You have helped a lot of clients get their security deposits back. If you're a tenant and have not received your security deposit from your landlord, give us a call. For sure.
And that's a shockingly common practice.
Yeah.
Like Megan said,
Yeah.
because so many tenants just don't have the means to hire an attorney, and landlords unfortunately kind of know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, once you hire the lawyer, you'll be surprised how likely you are to succeed in getting it back and how easy it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. A lot of consumer protection, real estate as
Real
well.
estate,
People with real estate needs, whether it's helping them through the transaction or disputes before or after the fact.
And I always suggest getting, like for residential especially, but commercial too, but real estate transactions, still hire an agent, real estate agent, to help you through the process. But I'm always there to review the contracts, advise on dates and deadlines that you can get out of the contract without penalty, getting your earnest money back. If something comes up and you have a way to break the contract and get out and get your earnest money back.
Yeah.
So again, advising and helping before the dispute comes up.
Well, I want to say that we had a champagne toast yesterday, and I just really said here's to the new partners, because I've done a few long toasts in my life, and then I spend the next few years in deep embarrassment over the long toast, and I don't have that kind of time to waste. I need the next few years to focus on other things rather than just the regret and embarrassment of the toast. But I do want to say how grateful I am to have you all here and building this firm. I couldn't ask for any better people to build it with. As I've said, I just want the firm to continue to grow in your image and to that sounded oddly religious. I might take out the in your image. But, I want to continue to grow the firm in the way you have helped build it so far, and just really multiply what you all have done is the goal and ultimate vision for the firm. So I'm so grateful for you.
Having started out as attorneys 2, 3, and 4 and grown to this point, I think we're all pretty excited to see what the next 3 to 5 years have in store for us. So.
Great point.
Incredibly excited. I think it speaks for itself when I say we all love being here, and we love the firm that we're building, and the future's looking bright.
And we're appreciative of you too. You laid the groundwork. You really made it a place where we all want to be.
Thank you for saying that. That for sure I'm going to cut out of the video,
Oh.
but I thank you for saying that.
No.
Great, that's a wrap.
Woo!
And
Time
Thank
to
you.
leave.